Hello and welcome to the item guide. In this video we're going to look at Voltar's Healing Wave. So going over the stats of it, the stats are a bit outdated since 2.7. It starts off with healing 5, as in 0.5 in the old stats. It starts off very small for droids, but it adds an extra 20 if you heal an allied Awesomenaut. So whatever you were to heal a droid for, if it also hits an allied Awesomenaut, it will add another 20. I think to encourage team play, same for teammates, keep them alive better. The maximum is 100 for droids or 120 for allied Awesomenauts. Attack speed 75, so 60 divided by 75 is 0.8. Every 0.8 seconds, if you hold down to heal, that's how often you can apply the heal wave. You can aim that any direction you like, as long as there's nothing solid in front of you. That's the only cost. There's a bit of a bug with the collision. If you are snug against the wall, like as far as you can go, you can't really do anything, but it's kind of buggy because if I move against the wall, it will work like that. I have reported this to developers, but they haven't figured it out. They said they fixed it, but they're lying to me. It's not fixed. So be very careful if you're close to a wall, because you might end up your heal not traveling, because a bit of a bug with the collision wall being a bit too far out, and with the heal wave colliding with walls. So it's just a bug that has yet to be fixed. So be very careful if you're going to be Voltar and you're going to be close to the walls. So range, as you can see, that's what 4.8 is. What it is, what the measurement is, I don't know. But I'd say it's about 3 jars in distance, probably about 3 jars high, something like that. That's how I try to measure it, or anything like that. So it's often or as powerful as you want it. So you can charge this up quite a bit, about that often. You'll see by the 3 icons swirling, then does that. So how does it work? Like, the ramp up is pretty weird since 2.8.1 anyway. So if I were to do it at the minimum, it's either 5 or 25, 1 icon, 2, not very much, about 3, 11, 3 a little bit more, 18, a little bit more. It takes a little while to ramp it up, but near the end of it, it cranks up pretty quickly. So it doesn't seem feasible to wait halfway through and then do a heal. It doesn't have a solid, steady speed charging up. It's slow, and then it goes right fast. As soon as the icons start fully charging, then that works out very well in that regard. So either spam minimum, or just wait for it to be fully maxed out, depending on what kind of playstyle you're going for. And for the payout, it used to be a percentage system, being 1.5%, I believe it was. But now, the way it goes to make Voltar a more active healer, no matter how little or how much you heal, it will always be 1 solar per target. So, where I was spamming minimum heals, it's barely healing those droids, but I'm getting solar much faster than if I were to let my wave charge, because even if I fully charge it, I barely get any solar. I still get that 1 solar apiece. Like so. Gotta get this halo off me. So, kind of like that. I'm still getting that 1 solar apiece. So, if you want to make money more often, you kind of have to risk your allies getting healed less often. But if you make your heals more charged, then you get paid less often. So, it's up to you to decide what needs doing most. Do you need to make money faster, get some items? Or are you at the point where you have the items to support a charge build? Or do you have the build to support a spam heal? Depends on what you are able to do. Okay, now that we got the basics of the heal wave down, we're going to go left to right of the items and kind of give a description of them. Starting off with the Happy Thoughts, can be bought twice. 160 solar, this will add 17 to the heal, no matter how little or how much it is. We'll add 17 to it. So we'll try to make an example of it. Maxed out 117 or 137, I believe, will be for allied Awesomenauts. So 22 at the minimum, but kind of the same rate. Either go for minimum or max it out, because going in between is really slow. The in between point is really slow and strange. So it's, unless you're in a emergency where you're about to die or you're trying to push somebody back, I don't recommend using the halfway. Just try to spam the minimum and see if you can work with that. It's just a matter of So it can go through enemies as well, so do take that into mind. So it's either 100, so it's at 117 if you have droids with you, and I'll get the ally in front of me, see if we can deal some damage that way. So if I charge it up, 137, so that's at extra 20. So with allies, it's 42. So it can be good enough with just one upgrade if you are staying with Awesomenauts. It can work quite well that way. So with that in the way, so we'll add another 17, so plus 34. So it would either be 40 or roughly 60, roughly 40, roughly 60. Depends on what you want to build into. Okay. Yeah, so if you hold it down like that, it'll be 40, so it's enough to get the job done if you want to continue spamming heals and getting paid more often. And you will get that 1 solar per target. So if you want to make money faster, but you want to be able to heal your teammates adequately, you certainly do that. Or you can let it charge up and combo it that way. It will either be 134 for droids or 154 for allied Awesonaut. That's just for happy thoughts too, so it adds to your heal wave in entirety. And just like that, if a group gets damaged, then that can work out very well that way. Okay, Psycho Connect Repulsion, 135 solar. This adds a knockback to your max heal wave. It doesn't have to be entire max heal wave, because you'll see from the graphic when you have the item, there's that circular graphic to it. That means that the effect is applied. So that means when you have that, you're able to knock back enemies that way. So it doesn't have to be entirely charged up. It seems to be even that much. But it seems to be when you have the 3 icons, it's just about good enough. About that point there. It's not the best way to describe this, but it doesn't have to be like that. You can do that sooner than that if you're in a tight spot. I bet so. So it says 0.4 for knockback, but it doesn't really mean a whole lot because it can knock back light characters really far, but it doesn't knock back heavier characters because it's pushing back its gravity. So if I knock back, it works quite well for just a healer. So if you're trying to push back lanes, you can do that, or push enemies into traps, that kind of thing. But it works great for if you're working on lanes or just trying to protect your allies by pushing enemies away. Exploding Clunk or Leon, for example. Leon trying to get hit. But there is a problem of if you don't take care of the enemy, they can just stack up like that. So heavier enemies will not travel as far, but Ayla, who is in rage mode, will work quite well. 2-minute mark. There we go. So like so. Doesn't work for a heavy character like the Solar Boss or a Derpal in the siege mode. You can't push Solar Boss into the lanes. I've tried. So it does work very, very well for droids. So it can work very well for escaping or aggressive play, anything like that. Just work your magic and you can do your heal at the same time. Psycho Thrust can be bought twice, 155 solar each time. This will increase the range by either 1.5 or twice its range. So with the base being 4.8, it will either add half of that or double that, depending on what you get. So with the base being about this long, taking that in mind, it will not pass through solids like that. It will pass through platforms so you can stay up on a platform, heal your allies or anything like that. But if you're trying to heal through a totem, I don't think it will work with totem. But you kind of get the idea of that. If for any reason that range is not enough, if you don't feel comfortable being with your allies, if you feel that they're being too risky, or you're just trying to stay back from a turret and do anything like that, you might do well with Psycho Thrust. This kind of helps with getting a good feel for Voltar. So add that 2.4, kind of a nice boost already to that. So if you want to stay back, or if you want to stay from a safe distance and heal people like that, it could work out for you. And you can also work out like that. So it can work out very well, but make sure that you're not left out in the open like that when you're trying to heal, because you could just be too far away from your allies and someone like a Leon or a Snipe could get you. So there's pros and cons to this. You could be further away from danger, or you might bring yourself closer to it, depending on what you buy. So if you double that, it's almost off screen for me in 1080p. That's how far the range goes. So it does work very well if you're trying to heal lots of people at one time. if you're going for a big push, or you're trying to add damage onto this as well, it can work out quite well, because I'm able to reach more people in one wave. So if I let it charge up, I can do that. And I'll let my droids get to the turret and just see how far away I can be, so I can get an idea of how safe I can be. Can I stay from here and do anything like that? Kind of. Not quite, but you kind of get the idea of how it works anyway. So like that, I can even be this far back and still do just fine. Let it charge up. Doesn't move too quickly, but it can work quite well, because as soon as something started coming my way, I could just back off and just make an escape. So depending on how you want to use this, you can use it quite well to stay in a safe area, but make sure that you're not in an area where your allies can't reach you in time, just in case someone tries to uncloak and try to attack you. Just be reasonable with this item, or you might want to use something else with it too. Up to you. Okay, the newly changed Dreams of Greed. 155 solar, and instead of getting an extra solar per target, no matter what it was, in 2.8.1, 2.8, and 2.8.2, this only applies when the heal wave is maxed out. So instead of being 1 no matter what, it will be 2 per target if it's maxed out. Now I don't like the idea of it, because in time that could, to get that 2 solar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I'm just healing one target, I can make double that solar, even if I have Dreams of Greed. I just don't think it's viable unless you're going for a more effective maxed out heal wave. It doesn't really seem like it's worth the solar to me, because it seems better to just get Happy Thoughts, max that out, get Healbot to assist with getting heals, and just spam heals that way. It just seems to work better. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It just seems like I get more money by just holding down a button than let it charge up. So I don't think Dreams of Greed is that viable anymore. However, on the other hand, I wonder if Dreams of Greed is going to stick around, because some solar items have been phased out, as you can see, because this used to be a solar tree, but it's not there anymore. So I wonder if this will just be replaced by something else in a future patch. So I don't have a problem with it, because with the percentage gone, I can just make more money by spamming heals with Happy Thoughts. So I don't feel I have been hindered all that much. Even with the Healbot, just combine healing with Healbot and do it that way. You can't stop me, Ronimo. Just don't do it. Okay, the damaging item in the healing wave and its belt is the Twisted Nightmares. Can be bought twice, 125 solar each time. This will be a minimum of 20 if you just use the minimum heal. If you max it out, it will be 80 on the first upgrade if you let it charge up. It does 10 less damage to droids on one upgrade, and it'll be 20 less damage with 2 upgrades, and it'll be 160 if you let it charge up. So this will be more viable for a charge-based build, this and this. Maybe this? Probably this though. So this can work well if you don't trust your allies all that much, or if you're going for more aggressive kill tar kind of build. So kind of how it works, it doesn't do any damage on default, as you can see. Next to nothing. Well, it does nothing against enemies, it's just healing. But if you want to do damage, you have the power to do that. So if I let charge up, it will do 80 to an enemy or 70 to an enemy droid. So 80 to an Awesomenaut, 70 to a droid. Doesn't do a whole lot. Default 10 if I just spam it, or 20 to an enemy Awesomenaut. So not really good for damage wise. It's kind of better to let it charge up. Help with getting damage even if I don't have my drones, but do remember that you probably will have your drones with you. So you'll be dealing much more damage this way than just having to rely on your healing way to deal damage. So it will not deal any damage to turrets, where it's kind of strange that way. But like that, can work very well in that regard. So we'll do a maximum of 80 to enemy Awesomenauts or 70 to droids. So if I were to double that, I believe it does 20 less damage to droids. So if I charge it up, 160. Let it charge up again. 140, so it will do 20 less damage. But even if I just let it do that, it will be 20 to droids or 40 to enemy Awesomenauts. So it actually does double in every way. So if I try to get some damage done that way, I almost get him right here. There we go. Managed to get the killing blow that way. So I think the reason why it was nerfed just to prevent myself healing through walls or dealing damage through walls used to be quite game breaking, but this kind of helps with that anyway. But a lot of people don't use this because drones can do the job quite well, in my opinion. But if you want to assist a little better in dealing damage or stealing some kills, if you want to, if you're being left alone, if your allies abandon you, or if you just want to do the job yourself, do it right, maybe, depending on who your allies are, if whether or not they're really doing what you want them to. So mixing this with extra range can work very, very well. And then mixing that with maybe more max heal could let you be a healer as well. Do that if you're trying to heal, or do that if you want to combine it with knockback. So this can work, it just depends on, are you willing to go all the way? Because if you're going to try with this, you may as well go all the way with it. So remember that if you have droids along with this, you can do quite well with it. Just have a team who can support this item, or be sure to understand this item as much as you can before using it. So it's not that I wouldn't recommend it, just have a plan or a build to support this, depending on what items you want to get. Okay, the last item in the belt is euphoric thoughts. It's now 250, used to be 360. This will add 80 to your max heal. So rather than being 100 or 120, 180 or 200 to the allied Awesomenauts. So if you're going for a charge-based build, if you just prefer to have that, then that's something that you can do. So as you were able to see, if I let it charge up all the way, and if I can reach an ally, like so, a bar of health is replenished. But if I do it to an ally droid, it will be 180. Ramps up a little bit better, tiny bit better. The ramp up is much faster, so if you want to heal in the in-between and still have pretty good healing, you could do that if you want to. But the full is pretty good, and it takes a little while to charge, about a second or two. Depends on if you're willing to wait the entire time and do that. So it's up to you. If you aren't too concerned about making money from your heal wave, you can certainly do that this way. Just know the fallback. So while you're able to heal your allies very well, you could make that money back by getting assist kills or taking down turrets, killing solid boss even. But it doesn't do anything to the minimum heal. It only applies the medium and the max heal. So do bear that in mind before you pick this item. This will combine with this. This will add to any heal, minimum or maximum. This will only affect the maximum, and the ramp up in between does not affect the minimum whatsoever. And you still only get one per target if you let it charge up all the way. So none of that percentage is present in 2.7. Okay, so hopefully you learned something from that. If this belt gets changed or updated in a future patch, I will try to update it as soon as I can. So that was the healing wave for Voltar. Thanks very much for watching.